a marshmallow planet has been discovered by NASA's planet hunting test spacecraft. Researchers are calling it one of the most surprising exoplanet discoveries ever made because its chemical makeup is more similar to a marshmallow than anything else they've seen before. It's fluffy, it's light, and it's 29 times larger than Earth. So what's going on here? How did something like this happen? And what can we learn from it? I'm the host, and you're watching this channel. Join me today as we take a look at the new discovery of a huge fluffy planet that looks just like a giant marshmallow. This newly discovered world is officially named TOI 3757b, but researchers have given it the nickname Puffy. The reason for the nickname is that this planet has an extremely low density, which means if you were to bring it down to Earth, it would weigh about 30% less than our planet, despite being 3 times as big. To put this in perspective, it's like a human being who weighs 200 pounds, having the same density as someone who weighs 80 pounds. It would be as if there was a person out there who had the mass of 2 people, but they only took up the space of 1. If that were to happen, they would feel very light indeed. But how could such a thing even be possible? Well, it comes down to what the planet is actually made of. For planets, there are 2 main categories of materials that they can be composed of: heavy elements or light elements. Heavy elements include things like iron and nickel and tend to make planets more dense, whereas light elements like hydrogen and helium tend to make planets less dense. Scientists believe that Puffy is made mostly of some combination of hydrogen, helium, and ammonia, but exactly how they're combined is still unknown. What we do know is that this planet has more than twice the radius of Earth, but it's only about 3 times heavier than our planet. This tells us that this object is not made out of iron, because if it was, it would be way heavier than it is. Also, it can't be made of pure hydrogen or helium, because then it wouldn't have any solid surface at all. It would simply be a gas giant like Jupiter. The fact that it does have a solid surface means that these light elements must be combined with something else in some way to form a kind of lattice that gives the planet its shape. Unfortunately, astronomers don't know exactly what's going on. They've ruled out a few possibilities, like carbon and oxygen, because if this planet was made of those, it would have a very hard, rocky surface, not a fluffy one. Other possibilities include nitrogen or sulfur, but scientists aren't sure. It's also interesting to note that this planet doesn't seem to have any rings or moons. No rings or moons have been observed around the star, and since no rings or moons would have been captured in the transit method, which is how this planet was found, it seems likely that this planet is truly alone, so far away from Earth that we can only observe it as a single point of light. We can't see any rings or moons. One of the other things that makes this discovery so amazing is that this planet orbits a star that is relatively close to us, at least when it comes to space. It's located in the Draco constellation, which is visible from the northern hemisphere during the summer. The star itself is slightly smaller and cooler than our Sun, which might mean that this planet could have liquid water on its surface. Of course, we don't really know much about the planet's atmosphere, but it does seem likely that there are conditions suitable for life somewhere on this planet. Maybe someday we'll find out if it's true. The fact that this planet is so massive and yet so fluffy means that it's as likely not made of rock or metal. In fact, scientists believe that this object may be the first ever discovered of a new class of planets called rogue planets. These are planets that don't orbit stars but instead wander freely through interstellar space. It's thought that they may have been flung out of their planetary systems by gravitational interactions with other bodies. Or maybe they were never bound to a star at all, but formed directly from the collapse of a giant cloud of gas and dust. One of the reasons why scientists think this is a rogue planet is that it doesn't seem to be orbiting anything. Its star is over 600 light-years away, which means that if this planet were actually going around it, it would be moving incredibly fast. However, scientists say that this planet isn't moving fast at all. It's moving much slower than expected, which means that it's not being held by any kind of gravity. It's like if you threw a ball straight up into the air and then it stopped. Normally, if you throw something up in the air, gravity will pull it back down to the ground. But in this case, something else must be keeping this planet from falling to its supposed star. If this is a rogue planet, it would explain why it's so far away from its star. It wouldn't be because it's orbiting the star. Instead, it would just be because it happened to get that far away from the star. The discovery of this planet has surprised scientists because they didn't expect to find something like it so soon. It's thought that rogue planets are relatively rare, so finding one right away was a bit of a shock. However, scientists say that this is probably just the first of many discoveries like this, and as technology improves, we should be able to find more and more of these strange objects. In fact, scientists believe that there may be more planets like this in our solar system. One possibility is that Pluto could actually be a rogue planet that was kicked out of its orbit long ago. However, scientists are still debating this. So for now, Pluto remains a dwarf planet. Another possibility is that this massive fluffy planet could be a brown dwarf. Brown dwarfs are objects that are bigger than planets but smaller than stars. They're also known as failed stars because they never quite become stars themselves. Scientists believe that there may be as many as 1 trillion brown dwarfs in the Milky Way, but we've only discovered a small fraction of them so far. It's possible that this object could be one of these failed stars. Scientists are excited about the discovery of this planet because it could help them learn more about the formation of planetary systems. By studying objects like this, they can learn how matter clumps together to form planets and how planets migrate through their systems. They can also study the atmospheres of exoplanets to learn more about their composition and habitability. One of the goals of the TESS mission is to find planets that could potentially harbor life, and discoveries like this one bring us one step closer to that goal. This planet is a bit too far away from its star to support life as we know it, but by studying planets that are more similar to Earth, scientists hope to find one that could have the right conditions for life. So the next time you're looking up at the stars, remember that there could be planets out there that are unlike anything we can imagine, like a planet made of marshmallows. What do you think? Is it possible that there are planets out there that are just giant marshmallows? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. And while you're at it, be sure to subscribe so you don't miss out on future videos. Thanks for watching. I've been your host. Keep looking up.